You know that feeling, sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic, thinking there's just no way to fix this mess? Well, what if there was a radical solution? Today, we're going to dig into how two of the world's most crowded cities tackled gridlock head-on. And you know what? There's a lot we can learn from them. We've all been there, right? Staring at the clock, feeling the frustration build. But the real cost of that traffic jam, it's so much bigger than just your own wasted time. You see, economists have a word for this stuff: externalities. When you're stuck in traffic, you're not just making yourself late, you're actually part of this huge citywide problem. Think about all the wasted fuel, the extra pollution getting pumped into the air, and just everything moving slower. From ambulances to delivery trucks, these aren't just annoyances. They are real, measurable costs that affect everybody. So how do you possibly solve a problem that everyone creates together but nobody really pays for individually? Well, the answer, coming from some of the busiest places on Earth, is to put a price on it. Yep, you heard that right. Let's get into it. The strategy is called congestion pricing. And honestly, it's a pretty simple but powerful idea. You charge a fee to drive in the busiest parts of a city during the busiest times of day. The whole point is to make drivers finally internalize those external costs we just talked about. In plain English, it's about making people pay for the traffic they're helping to create. And the logic here is pretty straightforward. First, you pinpoint the part of the city that's always gridlocked. Then, you charge people to drive there during rush hour. And all of a sudden, driving into the city center isn't free anymore. This gives people a real financial reason to think about other options, like the train, or carpooling, or just leaving an hour earlier. And the result? The roads clear up for everyone who actually needs to be on them. And look, this isn't just some wild theory from a textbook. The research really shows how this plays out in the real world. So let's dive into our first case study and see exactly how it works. First up, Singapore. We have to start here because this city-state is a true pioneer. I mean, they didn't just try this idea out. They've been perfecting it for almost 50 years. Now, what's so fascinating here is the evolution. Singapore started way back in 1975 with a simple paper coupon system. And get this, it cut the number of cars downtown by a mind-blowing 45%. By 1998, they'd gone fully electronic. And today, their system is incredibly smart. The gantries automatically change the price based on live traffic data. So if a road gets congested and speeds drop, the price goes up. If traffic clears, the price goes down. It's a truly dynamic system. Okay, now let's jump across the globe to London. You have this ancient city center with narrow streets that were just completely hopelessly choked with cars. So London decided to try something a little different. So, back in 2003, London introduced its famous congestion charge. It's what's called a cordon system. They basically drew a line around 21 square kilometers of central London, set up a bunch of cameras that read your license plate, and started charging a flat daily fee to drive inside that zone during the weekday. Right now, it's about £15. So you can really see the two different philosophies at play here, right? Singapore has this high-tech variable pricing system designed to manage traffic flow second by second. London went with a simpler, flat fee, you're in or you're out system to just reduce overall traffic in its core. Same goal, totally different tools to get there. Okay, so this is the million-dollar question. Did any of this actually work? Let's check out the data. In London, the impact was, well, it was immediate. And it was huge, a massive 30% drop in traffic. It happened almost overnight. So where did all those cars go? They didn't just vanish into thin air. The data clearly shows that people just changed how they got around. The vast majority of folks who stopped driving just hopped on public transit instead. Others started biking or just traveled at different times. See, it wasn't about stopping people from commuting. It was about shifting them to more efficient ways of doing it. And we're not talking about academic estimates here. These numbers came straight from the city's own transport authority. They confirmed that the policy worked pretty much exactly as they'd hoped. But as you can probably guess, telling people they suddenly have to pay for something that used to be free, well, that doesn't always go over well. So how on earth did these cities handle the inevitable public backlash? This was the #1 criticism you heard everywhere. In London, in Singapore, opponents immediately started calling it just another tax grab, a totally unfair penalty on regular drivers. The key was a really smart carrots and sticks approach. The fee, of course, was the stick, but the carrots were the genius part.
Both cities legally promised that every single dollar raised from the fees would be reinvested directly into making public transport better. So the whole story changed. It wasn't just a punishment for driving, it was a way to fund better bus service, more frequent trains, and upgraded stations for everyone.
So, when we look at these two super different but super successful examples, what's the big takeaway for all the other cities out there that are drowning in traffic?
It really boils down to this. Putting a price on congestion is an incredibly powerful way to fix it. But it is not just a technical problem with a technical solution. Its success hinges completely on political guts and a very clear, very transparent promise that all the money is going to be used to create better options for everybody, not just for the people who could afford to pay the fee.
In the end, it all comes back to pricing, those hidden costs we talked about at the beginning. We've seen it work for traffic, making cities cleaner, faster, and more efficient. It kind of makes you wonder, right? What other hidden costs are we all paying for? And could putting a price on them be the answer there too?